Good evening, fellows, and welcome back into the meeting room. I hope you fellows are enjoying your weekend and getting ready for the next week. Let's move on to the charts, okay? So, as I have spoken in Friday meeting, the pairs we were focusing for the next couple of weeks is New Zealand dollar and oil. Okay, New Zealand dollar and oil. Some of you fellows are holding their trade on oil, but on New Zealand dollar, but getting a little bit worried about the New Zealand dollar. It is not stopping, and you're gonna get lose that trade. Okay, so it will stop. It is not going to go far away. It will turn down. So once price gonna turn down, you fellows need to stay into this trade. Okay, so at the moment we are having impulse over there. The trade we are looking for on this pair is this one. All right, is this one. So quite similar like the previous one, that trade. All right, so we got a nice rejection on this pair at the top, close to the trend line. You fellas can see that. Nice impulse. All right, so we are having reversal back to that impulse. Okay, so on that day we were anticipating continuation under that trend line. If you fellas remember that, we were anticipating continuation under that trend line. Yeah, so price clearly violated that trend, the trend we were having over there for last couple of days, that trend violation. All right, so this is pullback. All right, this is pullback. As long as price must stay under that, you don't need to worry about that trade. Okay, it will turn down. It will get down to the downside. So where the trades is gonna violate once price gonna go about that. That is the solid reason or information to rely on that it is going to get down. Okay, so here you can see over there at this area. So when we have seen impulse, that impulse and that impulse, price never violated that impulse, never went beyond that. Okay, so we are having that kind of price action on the current price. So we're gonna look for continuation to the downside. Okay, so that is the continuation formation, and that is the trade we are looking for. So this trade gonna be for next couple of days or even for a couple of weeks. We're gonna look for continuation trade setup within that trade. Okay, so pay attention at the retracement of the impulse and look for continuation to the downside. You fellas can read that, I think. Okay, so I shared that impulse when it was coming over there. I shared that impulse into the group, and some of you fellas managed to sell over there and took their profit at this area. Okay, now we are having this continuation formation back to that impulse. Under that impulse, everything is correction. So that is the next continuation formation we are looking for. You fellas can put your wave lines and can pay attention at that area within these ranges. Okay, 786 or 618, whatever you want. So pay attention. We are going to get down on this pair very soon. So once price is going to start to move down, you fellows need to stay into that trade rather than cutting your profit early. All right, so UQL, we are paying attention at the bottom. Okay, so fellas, you can see it looks like aggressive to the downside. Looks like bearish at the moment. You can see bearish. So we have to be careful. It can further push to the downside up to that trend line and can start to rise. Okay, so that is the trade we are looking for. So once price gonna start to rise, this time it can get up to the 60s or 62. Okay, so high potential trade setup this time. We're gonna see on this on oil. So last time we got that trade, all right, that trade, and price broken down. Okay, and we got that trade as well. Some of you fellows got that trade as well at this to the downside. Okay, so we have to be prepared for this trade. Big trade is just coming over there on oil for next couple of days. All right, so you fellows know that how to look at the price section. We need to look at the price section as much low as we can. Okay, as much low as we can. I mean to say, if it is going to continue by forming these couple of corrective candles, let it go. Even you can get short-term trade set up on your lower time frame. Yeah, for short-term. So short-term trade setup is this. Okay, that is the short-term trade setup. All right, so last time, if you fellows remember that, we were having continuation formation. We were looking for one more move down. All right. So similar like that, this is look like one more move down formation. Yeah, a continuation formation. You fellows can see that. So it can further push to the downside. So we may see another short-term trade within that channel. Okay, quite similar like the previous one. If you fellows remember that. So short-term trade setup to the downside is possible over there. You can look for that short-term trade. All right. So once price is gonna start, remember this short-term trade is risky. Why that short-term trade is risky to the downside? Because we are looking for reversal from the bottom, and whenever price is gonna start to reverse back to the top, back to the up, price is gonna be aggressive with strong impulse. All right. So once price is gonna be aggressive to the upside, you know that you're not gonna get enough time. Price gonna stop you out for short-term trade to the downside. Okay, so price gonna stop you out. Once price gonna start to rise from the bottom aggressively, you're not gonna get enough time to close that trade for short-term trade to the downside. Okay, so if you are looking to sell for short-term trade, this short-term trade, you have to be careful. Okay, because we are at the reversal point. Some of you fellows, do not know where to get into the market and where to put stop loss by looking at the pattern. I mean, they do not understand the pattern. So some of you fellows sold the Euro USD at the top. Last week, I have shown you Euro USD trade setup, if you fellows remember that. Yeah, so some of you fellows managed to good profit from that trade, but some of you fellows sold that pair too late. All right, too late. Too late means that you are getting a bad entry and your trade may turn into a losing trade. All right, so let me get back that chart, that 15-minute chart on Euro USD, so that I can tell you where what I mean. That was the 15-minute trade setup. I think this one. Yeah, this is the Euro USD. All right, so the sell setup was there. If you fellows remember, I shared the bigger 4-hour time frame as well with you. But where you fellows were looking, those who missed the trade setup at this area here, they were looking sell setup at that area. All right, so without confirmation that it is going to continue to the downside. Yeah. Right, so okay, so I was talking about this pair on Euro USD. So some of you fellows sold here and they were just complaining later on that they got the bad trade. Yeah, you deserve to get a bad trade. Why you were selling here? Why you didn't took that trade at that area? Why you sold at this area when it was forming lower time frame trade set trend continuation pattern formation? So don't you see that we are having this reversal trend line back to the top? If so, why you were selling here? All right, so try to understand the pattern first, then try to understand the entry, where you need to look at the entry. Okay, so let me show you the 4-hour chart first so that you can fellows understand. I think I have that chart somewhere here. On Euro USD. Yeah, so let's look at the Euro USD. I haven't got that chart. Maybe into the other folder. Okay, so I think somewhere here. That chart must be somewhere here. Here, you can see over there. So why you didn't sell that pair at that top? Why you didn't sell that pair at that top? Why you were selling here at this reversal point? Why you were selling here? Okay, so sell was only there once price is gonna clearly violate that area and gonna form continuation formation. So that was the continuation trade set up to the downside. That was the continuation trade set up to the downside. Okay, so try to understand the pattern first and then get into the market. So similar like that, when you're looking to get into the market on oil, you have to consider the bottom. Okay, you have to consider the bottom, this bottom. Okay, so watch this bottom rather than buying here at this area. I have explained that period, right? So watch that bottom, that bottom, that bottom, that bottom, right? For that trade. Once that impulse gonna appear over there, that impulse gonna leave that trend reversal formation and gonna continue into other direction. Okay, so short-term trade setup is there, and that short-term trade setup is quite similar like the previous one, and quite similar like the Euro USD. All right, so pound USD. Pound USD, some of you fellows are just getting worried about that trade setup, that price is not going to continue to the downside. Price is going to go into the downside. Yeah, so invalidation point of this trade setup is this top. Okay, if price went beyond that top, close above that top, then our short view gonna change over there. So what we are having on this pair at the moment, we are having bigger daily trend continuation pattern formation. All right, so what we have seen in last couple of weeks, you can see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, so 9 days price was forming a flag, daily flag. All right, so similar like that, 1 2 3 4 and 5, we are forming bigger daily trend continuation pattern formation. So that is the invalidation point. So everything is just within that impulse, it's just correction forming trend continuation pattern formation to the downside. All right, so we are looking for risk taking entry, and that risk taking entry is quite similar like the previous one. Okay, so the previous one which I have shown you last time, we are having quite similar like that trade setup. All right, so I think I have got that trades, still got that charts here. Okay, so here, that place. All right, so that was the risk taking entry place. I have explained that chart in last meeting pretty well. Okay, so we are looking that kind of trade setup at this area, that area. Okay, that area. So that's the risk taking entry we're gonna look for this week. Let me show you the lower time frame. So some of you fellows drawing their chart, something like that. Let me show you something like that one. Yeah, it is possible that price can form that pattern too as well. All right, so but where we need to pay attention at the moment, what price is doing at the moment, price is just forming daily sideways formation, not going to continue to the upside. All right, so anytime soon, that is the place where we need to pay attention. That is the place. All right, so you can see over there it is forming reversal channel. You fellows can read that, and we have identified that reversal channel on Euro USD, USD Chief, DXY, and recently I just have shown you on oil. Okay, so that channel is gonna break down. So that was the trade. Some of you fellows managed to sell here and got the break-even trade. That's okay. That's part of the trading. Okay, if you got the break-even trade, that's part of the trading. Even you didn't get the losing trade over there. Okay, so if anyone looking to sell this pair, your stop loss must be somewhere here or behind that top. If you're gonna use that stop loss somewhere here within these ranges, you might get stopped out on this trade. Okay, so be careful, fellows. Those don't use tight stop loss on this pair, because we are having a bigger sideways or daily corrections. Daily trend continuation pattern. This is the flag, and that was the channel. All right, so that is the trade we are looking for. So next week we're gonna see some big news event on this pair, so we have to be careful, fellows. Okay, some Brexit negotiation is just coming over there next week, so pound pairs may show you some high volatility next week. So be careful. All right, so we'll see that how these pairs gonna develop. Okay, so we got the pound Aussie dollar. We are coming all the way from that top to the bottom. Okay, So any trade setup you are looking in this area gonna be for continuation trade setup, okay, not for the reversal trade setup, for continuation trade setup, to the downside, okay, for this much potential. But for that trade setup, we have to watch up perfect trend continuation pattern formation for bigger time frame, not for smaller time frame. If we're gonna get smaller time frame trend continuation pattern formation, that trend continuation pattern formation only gonna give you small trade setup, or only for lower time trade setup, okay, not for bigger time trade setup. So bigger time trade setup only gonna be over there once you're gonna see bigger continuation formation at that area. Okay, bigger continuation formation. So that bigger continuation formation going to give us confirmation that we are going to get down for this trade, not going to reverse back to the top again. Okay, so let me look at the lower time frame, what formation we are having. So all you fellows can see that we are having similar formation. The formation we just have seen on pound USD, but that one is bullish and this one is bearish. Okay, so let me remove that trend line, and I'm gonna draw that trend line. That is the trend we are having. Okay, so highly likely price gonna violate that trend line. That means it is going to form a bigger sideways correction. All right, so if you fellows remember that was the last trade setup. Similar like that, fellows, we can see over there continuation formation for smaller time frame. That is the place where you need to pay attention for this trade, okay, for this short-term trade. This is short-term trade, not for a bigger term trade for downside like that. All right, so quite similar like that. We're gonna see once price gonna hit this bottom, either it is going to reverse back for that one or going to continue. Okay, so if price not gonna stop that area, within that area, then we're gonna pay attention at this area. Okay, we can see impulses over there. So on this pair, short-term trade setup. Now for a big trade setup. On Euro USD, you fellows can see that we are having similar formation. All right, so similar formation. But this one is the bearish. That one is the bullish reversal. This one is the bearish reversal. Okay, so those who book their profit at the bottom, you can buy for this short-term up trade. All right, so as much low as you can, Not don't buy at this area. If you're gonna buy at this area, you're not gonna get good risk reward ratio. Okay, so once price gonna hit that top, we're gonna look for this trade again. Okay, this trade. If you fellows remember that trade, this trade, that trade, and again gonna look for this trade. Okay, so we're gonna see either it is going to break down or not. Okay, this place, this area, this reversal channel with strong impulse to the downside. Okay, so short-term upside is possible. Once price gonna pass that top, you need to look for short. Alright, so similar like that. Once we have seen that price behavior, we realize that it's not going to continue, it is going to get top and going to look for sell at this area. So very easy, not a big problem. So but the big trade setup is going to get down. Okay, so bigger formation is this bigger trend reversal point. You all fellas can see that we are having bigger trend reversal point at this area. So this is the trade we are looking for. So that is the reason we are short from the top. And similar formation here on DXY. Let me show you. That is the channel we are having, and that channel is quite similar like Euro USD. You can see over there. So last time we were anticipating that trade, and the breakout. We got the impulse from the bottom, but that impulse is not as strong, which is going to continue to the upside. So one more move down is possible within that channel. So once we're going to see that move to the downside, quite similar like Euro USD, again, you need to pay attention at that area. If you fellows remember that in last week meeting, I have shown you that you need to pay attention at this area. Right, so I think I have got the update at this area on this chart. Yeah, here we got that. All right, so you can see price started to rise, and this wave completed, but it is not rising so strong, not rising with so strong, with strong impulse. All right, so it can fall back again to the bottom. If so, you can have a short-term trade over there. I think for next week, that short-term trade quite similar like Euro USD. And once price gonna get to this bottom, we're gonna look for impulse. All right, so that trade, that impulse. So once that impulse gonna appear over there, that impulse gonna be very strong, aggressive. So you need to keep an eye on lower time frame, on 15-minute time frame. Once that impulse gonna appear over there, you need to get into the trade. Okay, as much low as you can. So for that, you need to understand the lower time frame. You need to understand the 15-minute time frame so that you can get into the trade on time rather than within this area, within these ranges. Okay, so try to pay attention at that bottom. Okay, so we are still in that formation, that bottom, again that bottom. USD chief, and USD chief is quite similar like that. The bigger formation we are having. Some of you fellows bought this pair at the bottom, at this area, if I'm not wrong, and took small profit. That's okay, yeah, that's okay. On lower time frame, 50-minute time frame. Yeah, I shared that time frame on with you when this impulse was just coming over there into the group. That's okay, but you can see over there, it is not going to continue once we have seen that impulse. All right, so that impulse appeared over there during the news event. All right, so you can see over there, it is not so aggressive, not getting the momentum for the upside. That means it can drop back to the bottom again. Right, so quite similar like the other pairs, that short-term trade. So that short-term trade is possible, but risk is there. So the bigger trade we are looking for is this. Okay, soon that trade gonna appear over there from the bottom, and you have to understand the lower time frame. Once you're gonna see the impulse from lower time frame, the way I have just shown you on 50-minute time frame, you need to into that trade. Okay, so that is the pattern I'm looking for on this pair, this formation. Basically, we are in sideways movement. Yeah, sideways movement on this pair. Okay, so we are at the bottom. So it looks like we are having a bigger trend continuation pattern formation at this area. That formation. You can see impulse, another flag, another impulse, and quite similar like you're gonna see another flag and then drop. Okay, so this trade setup. So if you are looking for that trade as much high as you can, okay, don't sell within this area. Don't sell within this area as much high as you can. Okay, for short-term trade to the downside. So be careful. We are close to the bottom. If you are looking for short-term sell, you have to be careful. Why you need to be careful? Because it is at the reversal point at the bottom. So longer-term trade gonna be upside, not to the downside. Okay, so any sell gonna be for short-lived, for short-term up to the bottom. Okay, so once price gonna rise from the bottom, gonna be aggressive with impulse. Like what? Like this one. All right, so you fellas can see here as an example. Like that, yeah? Okay, so if we're gonna see that kind of impulse on lower time frame, strong impulse, get into that trade. Currently, it is not so strong for the upside. Australian dollar and US dollar, yeah, it is going to get to the top again. This pair is just, staying within these areas for longer term. I mean, bigger correction. What we were anticipating that trade. We haven't got that trade. All right, so that's all right. If we didn't get that trade, it is getting back to the top again. Okay, high potential trade setup is just coming over there. This area, this place for this trade. If you fellas remember that, yeah. So that is the trade we're gonna look for. So short-term up trade is possible. I'm not interested to buy for that much. We're interested for the downside once price is going to hit that top. Australian dollar and USD dollar. USD CAD. USD CAD was amazing all the way from the top, and some of you fellows enjoyed that pair, and some of you fellows were just biting their hand once they have seen that big wave to the downside and they missed that trade. Alright, so they missed that trade. I will explain that pair, what are the possibilities now. Okay, but let me get back to the previous one, the previous chart, so that we can understand what's going on that pair right now. Okay, what we were looking for on that pair at this area. Okay, where it is going, so that you can get the idea at this area. Okay, what we need to look for at this place. So that was the chart. What we were having on that chart, we were having impulse. Price was running into the bigger weekly trend continuation pattern formation. Yeah, so there was the risk taking entry based on that weekly trend continuation pattern formation. All right, but we were tracking that impulse on lower time frame. That impulse on lower time frame. Yeah, so that was the impulse. All right, so what we need to expect at this area, what we need to look for at this area. Anyone has idea what we need to look for at this area, at that trend line? What we need to look for? Yeah, we need to look for two types of price action. Okay, so one is a trend reversal pattern. If we're going to see trend reversal pattern, or bounce back or strong impulsive move. Okay, so it is going to get back into that channel again. We're going to get back to the top again. If we're going to see trend continuation pattern formation, what we're going to see breakdown. Okay, if we're going to see impulse or a strong bounce back from the trend line, we are going to get back to the top again. Okay, so three type of price action required over there at that trend line. Three types of price action required over there at that trend line. Let me get back to that idea again. A trend continuation pattern that going to give you indication it is going to break the channel. Trend reversal pattern going to give you indication we are going to get back into that channel rising. Impulse or bounce back, strong impulse, going to give you an indication it is not going to break down that trend line. Okay, so that was the continuation formations. So I played pretty well. Continuation formation, you can see over there. So here we got the update. That is the place where we need to pay attention. If we're gonna see this kind of price behavior, it is going to get back to the top again. Okay, if we're gonna see this price behavior, this pattern at this area, it is going to get down. Okay, so indications are favorable for this move. All right, indications on bigger time frame like weekly are favorable. Indications are showing that we are going to get down for this trade. Okay, and also oil is showing big trade to the upside. Yeah, oil showing big trade to the upside. If you're gonna see that wave, oil gonna start to rise aggressively to the upside, highly likely you're gonna see this wave to the downside. So be careful, all fellows, those who are looking to buy at this area. Understand that. Okay. What we're gonna look for, we're gonna look for bigger continuation formation over that trend line, the way we have seen previously at that area. If so, we're gonna look for continuation formation. Okay, no buying early, no early buying. All right. If we're gonna see that continuation formation, it is going to get down again to the downside. Further downside is possible. We'll see that how that trend continuation pattern is going to develop over there. So if you are looking for short-term trade, short-term trade gonna be for upside within that channel. I'm not interested in that trade because that trade is gonna carry high risk over there. Okay, that trade. If you're gonna look for short-term upside, impulse, continuation, and if you are looking for that trade, you can look for that trade. Okay, this trade, but that trade carry a big risk. All right, big risk, because you can see over there how strong was that. So careful those fellows who are buying USD CAD over there. So we'll see that how things going to develop over there on this chart over the week in the next week. So USD yen is forming trend reversal formation. Okay, this formation you can see over there. So we are within these ranges. Almost we are having this pattern across the board. Most of most on the dollar pairs, yeah, dollar pairs are having this formation. Okay, so impulse, continuation formation, another continuation, another continuation formation, another impulse, another continuation, but this is not continuation for the downside. You fellows can see that. Okay, this is not continuation for the downside. This is aggressive from the bottom to the upside. So what that means is people are interested to buy here at this area at the bottom. Okay, if we're gonna see bottom again in next week, we're gonna look for big trade to the upside. Okay, we're gonna look for big trade for the upside. Some of you fellows managed to buy at the bottom on the New Zealand at this area. Those who bought that, you did an excellent job. Okay, so for short-term trade, there is a short-term trade setup. Okay, and that short-term trade can get back to the bottom again. Okay, this trade can get back to the bottom again. That trade, right? That trade, and then reversal from the bottom again to the upside. Now, what we are having at that area, if you fellows remember that, what I said on that day when I have drawn that trend line. Do you remember that, fellows? What we were looking for the price to reach that area correctively and then drop aggressively. Okay, from that area. If so, then that is the trade we're going to look for. Okay, so what I said on that, if price not gonna made up to that area correctively and drop down suddenly from somewhere here, we need to look for a continuation pattern formation at that area. I hope some of you fellows remember that. Okay, we have seen impulse, price never made up to that area. That is the price action. Okay, that is the price action where we need to pay attention. So that price action tells you that either price is going to reverse or not. So impulse, and it is forming continuation formation. All right, so you are having impulse, that is the impulse, another impulse flag, and it is going to do something like that. All right, so if so, that is the trade setup. Some of you fellows share their chart into the group. All right, perfect job, Weston. That's how you are learning, fellows. That's how you are learning. Perfect. You fellows are getting. Okay, so Chief Yan is quite similar like that. Continuation formation, that is the trade. All right, so let me show you the USD yen, Euro yen. Yeah, Euro yen is quite similar like that. I will look at that chart again. USD yen, I think USD yen, you share that chart. Here you share that chart. Okay, so we are having that continuation formation. All right, so that is the trade where you need to pay attention. We are having impulse, continuation formation, downside. Perfect job. You fellows understanding how to look at the patterns. Perfect job. Okay, so as long as price is going to stay under that impulse, there is trade setup. Once price is going to break up, that impulse is going to break up, trades that are going to trade setup, short trade setup to the downside going to be invalidated. Okay, so what you can target on that trade, if you are getting worried about that impulse, I mean that impulse, this impulse is just creating some doubts for the target. I mean, if you don't want to hold that trade up to the bottom, pay attention within these areas. Okay, extension of this impulse. You can target that impulse, extension of that impulse. Where you need to pay attention for short within these areas. Okay, once that flag gonna complete it within that areas for downside. So here we got the USDN. Yeah, this is the pair which is getting ready, fellows. Some of you fellows looking for the reversal. Yeah, that is okay. That is okay. You can look for a reversal for the upside. Okay, because it is rising aggressively for the upside. Looks like impulse. Yeah, looks like impulse. What we need to look for, what where, what kind of trade setup we are looking for at this area. We are looking for this kind of trade setup. Okay, correction back to that impulse, and that correction can come up to this area, or even it can violate that in that impulse to the downside. All right, can violate that impulse to the downside if that going to be aggressive to the downside. I have explained that pair pretty well in last meeting, but yes, we are getting impulse from that bottom. Some of you fellows shared your chart. You read the impulse, excellent. All right, on bigger time frame, but here we are having loss of momentum. All right, we are having loss of momentum and overbought conditions. So price is close to the zero line. Zero line. All right. If price keeps struggling at that area, I mean, if we're going to see some impulsive signs on lower time frame and price going to stay within these ranges, that means we are going to get down for another big trade to the downside. Okay, that big trade for continuation to the downside. So we're gonna pay attention at that area. It is aggressive to the upside, but we have to consider that pair at the current price. All right, so impulse, that is the impulse, that is the continuation formation. Okay, if price is gonna start to struggle somewhere here, it can get back to the downside again. All right, if we're not gonna see that struggle, bear is not going to get strong over there, it is going to form a continuation formation, something like that. Of course, we're going to look for continuation to the upside. Okay, so currently we are looking for pullback. Okay, that pullback can come up to this bottom. Can come up to this bottom. Okay, so that is the trade setup we are looking for on Uzi Cheap. What kind of price action required over there to get into the market? That kind of price action, right? That kind of price action, 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 that kind of price action. All right, if you will see that kind of price action here, impulse means impulse, yeah, we are going to get back into the bottom. Okay, that is the trade. So this is the bigger correction back to that big wave which is coming all the way from that top. All right, so if you fellows know that what we were looking for on this pair from that top, we were looking that trade. So price is just bouncing back from that bottom. Okay, bouncing back from that bottom, this area. So we are still looking for that trade, continuation of that trend. So this is going to be the nice trade for next week. We'll see that. Some of you fellows tried to get into the early on this pair, and I think maybe stop though. All right, so look for the impulse, fellows, for confirmation. Okay, so some of you fellows were looking at this pair. All right, okay, that is the reason why I was saying I need to look at this place. I think some of you fellows remember that. So Mukesh, you were asking me on this pair. Do you remember that what I said? What I said when price was here at this area? Do you remember? That is not a buy place for me. All right, that is not a buy place for me. Excellent, if you remember that. Okay, so what is the buy place for me? That is the buy place for me. So we got the reversal, we got the breakout, we got the impulse, but it is not going to continue. You can see that, yeah, it is not going to continue getting back into the bottom again. So what we need to look for, this trend line. If price is gonna keep that trend line for the upside, that trade gonna be over there. Okay, that trend line, yeah, you can see over that it is aggressive. So we need to be careful. We need to be careful over there. Okay, if price is going to keep that trend line, we are looking for upside. We are still looking for upside. Where we need to pay attention for next week, we need to pay attention at this bottom. All right, so if price will lay that bottom, the buy setup, this buy setup gonna change over there. Okay, that buy setup gonna change over there. So what we need to look for in that case, further downside. We're gonna look for further push to the downside, and then we're gonna look for upside. Okay, we're gonna look for buy. We're not gonna look for sell on that pair. If we're gonna see further push to the downside, somewhere here, let me move that. If we're going to see further push to the downside somewhere here up to this low or even up to this low, perfect. That's going to be a big trade, high potential trade. Okay, that's going to be a high potential trade, big profit. All right, so we are in strong trending. If we're not going to get that trade, perfect. We're going to look for buy somewhere here on 53 and 54 within these ranges. Okay, so potential gonna be bigger over there if it is going to break down that channel. All right, you can see over there strong trend to the upside. So if breakdown, so it can do something like that or something like that, but gonna be trending to the upside. You can see over there trending to the upside, trending to the upside. So don't worry about that if it is breakdown, something like that. So it's gonna be something like that correction, or that correction, and then trending to the upside. Okay, so you have to be into that trade if it is going to break down. Gonna be perfect trade once we're gonna see breakdown. So what I can see over there by looking at this chart, it seems to me that price is just bears are struggling at this area. They are struggling. Yeah, if you look at the indications showing that move. Okay, so good luck to you fellows. Euro yen, yeah, we need further upside on this pair, then we're gonna look for a short. Let me look at the bigger time frame. Okay, so be careful those who are looking to short at this area. This is look like aggressive. Yeah, so trend continuation pattern is just changing at that area. Trend continuation pattern is just changing. We had the trend continuation pattern. The trend continuation pattern was that. Some of you fellows got the break-even trade, and some of you fellows managed to take small profit. That's okay, fellows. That's part of the trade, part of the trading. Okay. If you remember that, we were looking short from this area. We got that trade. All right. So we were looking this short trade. Yeah. This trade. All right. So let me click on it. This trade. Okay, so something is changing at the bottom. At this pair is this pattern is just changing. Yeah, we had that trend continuation pattern formation. That is the place some of you fellows managed to sell. We managed to sell, we got the breakout, but here the pattern was changing. Okay, not going to continue, going to get back. Okay, so this trend continuation pattern has changed itself. All right, so we knew that when a trend continuation pattern is not going to continue on the breakout, it can change. That is the reason most of the time we don't look for the breakout trade setup. Yeah, if you fellas look at the breakout trade setup at that area, by putting your stop loss over there, you got the losing trade. Okay, you got the losing trade. Where we got the short, let me show you here at this area on lower time frame. Okay, so I will show you what we need to look for right now on this pair. That was the continuation formation. Okay, so some of you fellows managed to sell. Perfect. You got the break-even trade. Perfect, fellows. Don't worry about that trade. Okay, so it is forming continuation pattern formation at that area, but I'm careful on that trend continuation pattern to the downside. I'll show you that trend continuation pattern on lower time frame. So if price is gonna push that up to that top, we are again seller from that top. All right, again seller. The way we have done here, the way we have done here, the way we have done here, we're gonna do similar like that. All right, we're not gonna look for upside continuation. This time we had stronger impulse as we compare to the previous one. Stronger, stronger, and stronger impulse. Okay, so some of you fellows looking for this short-term trade, that's okay. You can look for that trade to downside. It can continue to the downside, but be careful. That impulse can push up further to that top. Okay, further to that top. This trade setup. This trade setup is possible over there. Even it can further push to the downside. So when I've been trusted on this pair at the top, all right, the top I have shown you, top for further potential, rather than looking at this trade setup at this place. So I'll update about that once market going to open, what price section you're going to see at this area. And pound yen is changing slightly the pattern. Okay, so going beyond that trend. So we have to be careful. When we are looking to sell. Okay, you can see impulses over there. Still, we can get that trade. Yes, still we can get that trade even further to the bottom. But we have to be careful. The momentum is building to the upside. You can see momentum is building for the upside. All right, momentum is building for the upside of yen pair. So we have to be careful. So we started that pair to sell from that top. Okay, so the reason to show you the previous chart is to tell you that we are getting close to the reversal point. Okay, we are getting close to the reversal point. Any sell over there close to the reversal point gonna carry a huge risk. Okay, gonna carry a huge risk. So you have to be careful. That was the way we were looking from that top up to the bottom. So what we are having currently, we were looking for that trade setup. We got that trade setup. I think I didn't update that chart after that update. I think I posted a new one. All right. So still we can get that trade. Still we can get that trade similar like the USD yen, that trade. Okay. But we have to be careful this time. Yeah, last time you fellows were not, caring about this chart, about this trade, about these trades. Why you are not caring about these trades? These trades? Because we were having continuation formation. You can see continuation formation, continuation formation, continuation formation, continuation formation. So what we are having here, some of you fellows managed to sell here at that one as well. Okay, so here we need to care. We need to be careful. So this is something is going on over there, that the previous momentum which was over there, the previous bearish momentum was over there. That momentum is going to change. Okay, so change is coming over there on this chart. Still we can get that trade, but we have to be careful. All right, we have to be careful because there is impulse. You fellas can see that there is impulse. Let's look at the lower time frame. Continuation formation, impulse. Similar like other yen pairs. All right, continuation formation, impulse. Okay, so that is the trade. This trade may appear over there, still may appear over there. So that is the impulse. Your stop placement just above that impulse. If price went beyond that impulse, so reason to sell gonna wait. Okay, no reason to sell on this pair. We need further signs, further impulse like that at this area. Okay, at this area, that impulse for the downside. All right, so that is the trade setup on this pair. Still, we can see one more move down. Pound New Zealand dollar, yeah, similar like. I think I have shown that chart. Oh yeah, I should have spoken about that chart on the update. So this trade, all right, this trade, as much high as you can. Don't sell here, this area. Why don't sell at this area? If you're gonna sell from current price, you're gonna carry bigger stop placement. Okay. If you're gonna look for price action somewhere here, I'm gonna look for this trade. That's gonna be okay. Gonna give you good risk reward ratio and reasonable stop placement. All right, as much high as you can. So what you can do, and other technique which you can use over there, just pull your retracement line for this trend. Okay, so pay attention within these ranges. Okay, if price pass that ranges, this area, that is the trade you need to look for. All right, that is the trade. We're going to see once price going to hit the bottom, either going to continue or not. If you fellows remember that, I have shared the charts before as well with you. Let me bring back that chart. Yeah, folder number 30. All right, so where you need to pay attention, similar like that, you need to pay attention at that place again. Should be in this folder. Yeah, here we got that chart. Okay, so that was the place where you need to pay attention. Watch for bottom or continuation. So we got the bottom. Okay, we got the bottom at that place. So that was the wave which came after that. Right, so similar like that, once we're going to see that trade, this trade, you need to pay attention at the bottom. Why you need to pay attention at the bottom? Because we are having this channel. That is not continuation formation. That is reversal formation or the upside. Okay, so I hope you fellows understand that. Pound cat, pound cat is setting for the big trade. Right, so the big trade we were looking for on this pair. This big trade, fellows. Why this big trade? Because oil is going to be positive in next coming days. CAD is already strong. Pound is weaker currently. And that is what we were looking for under that trend line. All right, so we were looking for continuation formation. We are having that continuation formation. Okay, that continuation formation is going to give us this trade. That trade. Okay, so where we need to look for trade setup as much high as we can. Okay, or you fellows need to look for loss of momentum at somewhere here at that area. Right, that is the trade, fellows. I think you all can see that continuation formation. Yeah, I think you all can see that continuation formation, and we have spoken about that continuation formation before it forms, before this continuation pattern appears on our chart. Yeah, before that trend continuation pattern appears on our chart. I don't think so I posted. Okay, so we were looking sell from that chart, if you guys remember that chart. I think I posted update on this chart or not. All the way price is just going to get down. Let me look at the, yeah, here we got the update. We got the continuation formation at that area, and we got the breakout, and here we are having another continuation formation. Okay, quite similar like that, and that is the trade we're going to look for. Okay, quite similar like this trade. Yeah, so this pair going to be crucial for next week because it is forming very nice trend continuation pattern formation, bigger for or you can say that daily trend continuation pattern formation. If that trend continuation pattern gonna keep in corrective nature, and we're gonna see the loss of momentum, we can look for sell somewhere here. Let me draw that before the breakout. All right. So if breakout gonna be strong enough, you can look for breakout because it is so corrective in nature. So corrective. Yeah, pay attention within these ranges. Okay, so pull back after that impulse or correction or trend continuation pattern formation or loss of momentum or overbought conditions somewhere here within these areas, okay, or test of this trend line, okay. So lots of indications you can use to get into the market for this continuation formation. If that trend continuation pattern gonna change its formation, I will let you know about that. I'll update about that in the group. Chief yen, quite similar like that, okay. Short-term trade, it's like euro yen, okay. This short-term trade, are quite similar like USD yen. Before selling this pair, look at the market, how market gonna open, okay, how price gonna open. If price gonna open and gonna stay into this continuation formation, then look for sell. If market gonna open and gonna give you some bigger candles over there, then this pattern is going to change. All right, so be careful. Don't straight away get into the market after opening the market. Give more time to this trade, couple of hours, and then look for continuation formation. If that continuation formation is going to stay into that formation, like impulse and continuation, then look for sell. That's short-term trade. All right, so that's short-term trade. So only small trade, look for small trade, not a bigger trade on this pair in chief yen. All right, so this is the trade on this pair. You all fellas can see that. So the bigger image is this. We are having reversal formation. I'm looking for one more move down, and we're gonna decide for the bottom. Either it is going to get up or not. All right, bottom. So looks like we are having corrective trend continuation pattern formation within the reversal formation, or you can call that whatever you want to call that, wedge or reversal channel or expanding triangle, whatever you want to call that. Okay, so we are having that continuation formation. We got the continuation. We were having another continuation formation. We got the breakout. We are having another continuation formation. Last time we were looking price action at this area. We didn't got the price action for the downside. We got the breakout. Okay, so this is the trend. You can see it looks like corrective. Looks like the previous one, like the previous flag. This flag, bigger flag. That is quite similar like that. As long as price could stay under that impulse, we are bearish on this pair. All right. Once price gonna violate that impulse, gonna close above that, this trade setup gonna change, okay? Or the pattern, this pattern is going to change. All right. So if you are looking to sell, you're before the breakout, before this breakout, okay? If you are looking to sell before this breakout, your stop must behind that. Okay, and if you're looking before the breakout of this corrective uptrend, try to look at as much high as you can. Okay, be careful. Selling before the breakout or before the impulse carry a huge risk. Okay, nothing confirmed that is going to continue to your direction except indications from your indicator, structure, or pattern. Okay, but looking at the pattern or indication. Okay, so once impulse gonna appear over there, that impulse gonna confirm that it is going to continue to the downside. All right, so I'm still looking for the downside on this pair and upside on this pair. Okay, so we are having both pair quite similar to each other. This trade. All right, that trade. That is the invalidation point. Close below this, no buying. Understand that. Where we have seen that impulse, anyone remember that? Where we have seen that impulse? This impulse is quite similar like that. I have shown you that quite similar like that kind of impulse last week. Right. I don't think so. You fellows remember that. Here we have seen that impulse. Do you see that? As long as price gonna stay above that impulse, this pair gonna get into that direction. Okay, this pair will go into that direction. It can change couple of formation. Okay, it can change couple of formation at this area. All right, so as much low as you can. look for buy as much low as you can. So similar scenario we are having here on pound chief. Okay, here that is the place where you need to pay attention. Okay, that is the place where you need to pay attention. And similar here on this pair. Okay, that is the place where you need to pay attention. Alright, that is the trade you need to look for. That is the trade up to the previous top or further upside. Once price will hit the top, we'll look at the chart again and reanalyze this chart. Either we are going to get down for longer term or going to get to the top again. Alright, so that trade. So we were buying from this pair at the bottom. Okay, so what we are having, changing pattern formation. If you can see that we are having changing pattern formation. Which pattern is going to change? This pattern. Okay, we were anticipating some price action at this area for this downside. We can see broken up. So this trade we are looking for short-term up trade. Okay, that trade. Then we're gonna decide either we are going to get down or not. Once price is gonna hit that reversal channel top. Euro New Zealand looks like we are having corrective wave to downside, and that wave can break up to the upside again, like that. All right, so you need to pay attention for this trade. Pay attention at the gap, at this gap. If price gonna close under that gap, don't look for buy. Under that gap, pay attention at this area. Okay, at this area. If you're gonna see some price section on your lower time frame, look for buy. I'll show you on lower time frame what kind of price section you need to look for on lower time frame. So this pair is doing an excellent work. So some traders were looking, I don't know, out of the chart on this pair on the trading view. All right, so this area, this place you need to pay attention. If you're gonna see this kind of price section, look for buy. Okay, at that area, this kind of price section on lower time frame. All right, so some traders were looking out of the chart at this area, something like that. Never got that. What we got that? We got this wave, the way we were looking for. Okay, so one more up move is possible within that channel. This kind of up move. We'll see that how things gonna develop on this chart on lower time frame. Yeah, so where we are at the moment, under that channel. Right, under that channel. Under that channel. Alright, so good luck fellows on this pair. Some of you fellows were looking on this pair. The way I have shown you, need to consider that pair in the same way. Gold, nothing is there on gold at the moment. Not buying, not selling, only trade management. Those fellows who are holding their short from that top, you just need to manage your trade. Any sell from this area, from the current price, gonna be risky. Okay, gonna be risky without the valid continuation formation, without trend continuation formation. I mean to say, some traders looking for the pullback, like support and resistance pullback. That kind of technique gonna be risky over there. Yeah, so this kind of bigger continuation formation, like that, bigger continuation formation. So those fellows who sold here and sold here did an excellent job. You just need to wait for the price to come up to that area, or either it is going to break down or going to get back to the top again. You just need to manage your trade. Hold on your nerves and let the profit run. Alright, so those who manage to sell here, hold on your nerves and look at this profit. Okay, it can further push to the downside, can break down, but looking to sell at this area gonna be risky without a bigger, at least this kind of trend continuation pattern formation. All right, at least. Then you need to look for continuation trade. All right, don't sell the gold without the trend continuation pattern formation. It has already moved a lot. If you're gonna do that, you're gonna get a bad trade. All right, so we were anticipating that continuation formation, although that continuation formation formed, but tested that trend line and started to break down. Yeah? All right, so we have spoken about that formation pretty well when it was forming over there. So that is the code. Frankfurti, quite similar like that. Yeah, like the euro pound. Okay, so as much low as we can. I'm still anticipating that trade. Still looking for the up move on Frankfurti, that up move. All right, this trade you can see over there. Still looking for that trade. As long as price must stay above that impulse and price must stay into this corrective formation, highly likely you're going to see that trade. So see, the same. This pair has the same. Nothing has changed. Some of you fellows share their chart on this pair. Nice, good work. Let me show you the weekly first, and what we need to look for. Where we are heading. Okay, you can see over there. Something is going at this area. Something is going at this area, and it is not going aggressive into that direction like that. Not going aggressive or not going something like that. Okay, so something is going on over there at this area. So we need to consider what's going on over there at that area. Let's look at the lower time frame. What we are having that reversal formation broken down with strong impulse. What we need to look for, continuation formation for this trade. All right. So if you want to buy for that correction to the upside, it's up to you. You can buy that. I mean, if you want to buy for that pullback, this pullback, for that correction, you can do that. All right, for this flag, you can do that. But for that, at least you need to get a sign on your lower time frame that is going to continue to the upside, something like that. All right, then look for buy. All right, so like that. All right, for the bigger correction. So upside gonna be limited for short left, small trade for back to the reversal, back to the impulse, and then we're gonna look for bigger trade to downside. All right, so quite similar like that on this pair as well. We need a bigger continuation formation at this area for upside. So this you can trade on this short term. Look at the breakout of that channel, then look for sell. All right, so breakout, strong breakout of that impulse, this channel, that impulse you need to look for, and that continuation formation you need to look for continuation formation, bigger continuation formation for the upside. Okay, so similar like the USD yen and Euro yen. New Zealand chief is not ready. Aussie CAD, Aussie New Zealand dollar, New Zealand yen, neutral on the New Zealand yen at the moment. We'll update about that. New Zealand CAD, Euro chief is just going to continue for the upside. Okay, so that was the flag we were having. This pair is so slow, so slow. You can look for buy for this trade. It's too slow. Not interested on this pair. Those who bought this pair from somewhere here or somewhere here on the breakout, good luck, fellows. Keep that trade. Yeah, I will hold on these pair: New Zealand yen, CAD yen, and Aussie yen. So hold on means that I need further signs. It is look like aggressive to the upside. You can see over there, look like aggressive to the upside. So we'll see that how things gonna develop on this pair at the top, and similar like that pair, CAD yen. Some of you fellows looking to sell early based on that top, but we need further signs at this area. Then we're gonna look for sell. So currently I'm watching these pairs. Okay, watching these pairs at this area, at that area for this trade. Okay, for this trade. So silver, all right, we are getting to the bottom again. We're gonna look for buy here again. All right, so similar like the previous one. when it was falling like that, right? So that was the wave came after that. Let it come to the bottom to that area. So we're gonna look for that trade. All right. So silver is getting to the bottom again. Sugar is just going to continue the flag. Let it go up to this area. Once price is going to come up to this area, we'll see that what's going to happen, whether we're going to see a reversal or not. Yeah, so Bitcoin, you know, some fellows are asking me in the on the trading view and on the Facebook about the Bitcoin. Bitcoin is dropping so aggressive, so I'll show you the previous chart first, then I'm going to get back to the current one. What here you need to pay attention on Bitcoin. I think that was the second chart. I have the first chart. That was the second chart. Yeah, after the breakout. After this breakout, let me look at the first one. Then I'll update about this. So I have that chart. I posted that chart in the group on that day. So looks like we're gonna see one more move down to the trend line on Bitcoin, and then reversal back to the top again on Bitcoin. Okay, if so, then there's gonna be another chance to buy the Bitcoin at the over the trend line. I think some of fellows managed to buy the Bitcoin over the trend line. I share that chart with you into the group. Okay, so pay attention over this trend line. Once price gonna test that trend line, this area, this flag gonna break down and test this bottom, then look for this trade. Okay, so this trade. Highly likely we're gonna see back to the 30 again. All right, back to the 30 again. So Bitcoin gonna remain within these ranges for next couple of weeks. All right, so you may get another chance to buy that. I think enough for today. Enough for today, fellows. Any question? All right, so you are making a good profit on that, Marcus. Nice job. No question. Okay, so the fellows, those who are new, uh, you have a job to do. Go back to the tracktradingacademy.com, log in, and you need to watch these videos, fellows. Those fellows who are new. All right, so that is your job to do. If anyone is just joining through the tracktradingacademy.com, these are the videos, fellows, you need to watch, and you can see lots of videos over there on daily meetings. Okay, so lots of meetings. Uh, those who are joining group training, lots of stuff for you, fellows, lots of stuff. Okay, so you have to go to that stuff, and also you can go to the Google Drive as well. All right, so lots of stuff is over there on Google Drive as well. Be patient. You're gonna learn this stuff in a single day or in a single week. Yeah, lots of stuff is over there. Go back to that stuff. Look at this stuff, all right? Yeah, try to watch that again. If you are still confused, try to watch that again. Or if you are having some questions, write down your questions, and you can ask that question in the group, or you can ask that question straight away to me. All right, in the box in my direct text. All right, fellows. Thank you very much for being with me. Have a great week. Enjoy your a great weekend, and enjoy your weekend, and have a nice upcoming week with profitability. Thank you very much for being with me. Bye bye.